Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for Side B, otherwise known as Tech Support, here on Technical Alpha. Oh boy, Panic is special updating his text, which is now over his forehead.
Oh god, why is this happening? It's such a good message, too.
Oh, you're wrecking it.
There we go.
Well, you sort that out. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Friday, August the 18th, 2017, and in a fit of genius, Jeff's dog Thor went and pulled a classic dog maneuver and got a little bit too curious with a porcupine. So Jeff had to leave to go take Thor to the vet. I'm assuming. Hopefully everything is fine there, and it will only be just a sore muzzle for a couple of weeks for Mr. Thor. Nothing more serious than that. But yes, it is time to discuss all the questions that have been sent in by our $10 and higher patrons, which we so love to hear from on a weekly basis. So, Mr. Tabin, have you pulled a question out of this lot yet? Do we have something to start the thing with, or were you too occupied with your text overlay? You were too occupied with your text overlay, weren't you, you son of a bitch?
Each of you get a chance. All right, I got my question. It's from Postal Panda, who's always been supporting us hard, and this is a great question. All right, Adam, get ready. I want you to sit back in your chair, get jacked in. Ready?
Okay.
Each of you get a chance to sit in the Matrix chair, the I Knew Kung Fu scene. What skill do you instantly master and why?
Ooh, shit. Instant mastery of... So I guess the chair allows you to master basically anything, right?
Any one skill.
Any one skill? Man. That's tough.
Like, you get the Zach Galifianakis numbers moving around your head
as
you learn that skill.
Exactly. Any one... Wait, why am I seeing audio? Can chat ask what audio... What do you... Anyway.
They're saying that's a skill that you would want to master.
Oh, audio... Oh, I get it. Okay. You see, you just triggered me that quickly. You can't do that to me. So I don't know. I think probably, honestly, while it's not necessarily Kung Fu, I would love to instantly master Wing Chun.
So you're just gonna stick with the martial art, nothing else?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing. I mean, there's everything takes time to master, but it would just be cool to have a martial art under your belt, so to speak. You know, really quickly and. While it's not the most practical martial art out there, I think that it's always interested me. I loved the whole history of it, Ip Man and all that shit.
If it couldn't be a martial art, what would it be?
If it wasn't a martial art, then I guess I would master some language. I would just choose a language to know instantaneously. So,
Korean.
Well, if I had to be utilitarian, it has to be Mandarin, right? Because it's you know,
that'll be a good one.
That's the one to go. Not only is it way more difficult to learn than Korean, it's also more spoken for obvious reasons. So yeah, those would be my two choices.
Martial arts, I would probably go with probably something like Krav Maga.
So you want to just kill people?
No, I mean, I've done Taekwondo already. Obviously, I haven't mastered it. I've messed around with Jeet Kune Do, but I kind of hurt my leg, so I haven't gone in a little bit. That's healed up. But Krav Maga has always been as an effective martial art of like balancing self-defense and, you know, being able to kill someone when you need to.
It's a great way to kill somebody.
Yeah. That would be a good one. From my end, in terms of like practical skills, I'm torn. Really want to learn blacksmithing, or something like that. Carpentry, you could probably learn that. But probably more realistic, I'd literally just be like, make me a programming god.
But you couldn't. But programming God, you only choose one skill. So you'd be like, I'm really good at C#.
No. That's the thing. Programming is like, as a programmer, you don't necessarily learn one language. Like, that's just syntax. Like, for me, I don't like when I say I program, and I'm sure a lot of other programmers can sympathize. I don't actually know Java or C# or Python syntax off the top of my head. It's just not something I can do. I literally will bring up Google and look at it. But the big thing is, like, I can look at just the syntax and be like, all right, yeah, but all the underlying deeper concepts of how a programming language functions, architecture, putting it all together, I know that. So literally I can just be like, all right, I need to program something. What's the best language for it? All right, and in this case it's Python. I'll just look up the syntax for Python. I can run, and I can write a perfectly effective program in that. Or I'm like, no, I need to do something a little bit more component oriented. I'm going to go with C. The language doesn't matter to a good programmer. It's just knowing the concepts and the architecture, when to use what, and what's the most effective for what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, no, I get you.
So for me, that's when I say programming God, I want to be able to understand, the impact of all of that and just know that.
You want to be that 13-year-old Asian kid that already knows four different
dump the knowledge
languages.
Of a PhD researcher of computer science plus software engineer with 30 years experience plus that. Dump that into my brain. That's what I want.
That would be pretty epic. Let's see. Did you play Dark Souls games?
I've watched you play them. It's one of those games. We've had this discussion. I don't like getting super stressed out and annoyed when I'm playing games. Dark Souls just looks like that, so I'm just like, I'll pass.
That's fair. Well, I'll ask anyway. Duke, with the last name that nobody here knows how to pronounce yet. My favorite boss in Dark Souls or Bloodborne, and why, and then the least favorite.
Before you continue that, Duke, the next time you post a question, since you post all the time, please give us the phonetic or dictionary pronunciation key for your last name. We don't want to keep butchering it, man. We love you because you actually do put good questions up.
So for me, my favorite Dark Souls boss is or Bloodborne. It doesn't much matter. I combine them all. It doesn't matter. It's still my favorite is Artorias. And Artorias was a DLC boss that was coincidentally in a pack of 3 bosses that were, for all intents and purposes, the best bosses in the entire Dark Souls franchise, outside of maybe a couple here and there. So yeah, Artorias. Why? Well, for me, Artorias taught me how to play Dark Souls. Up until Artorias, I was getting away with shit that I didn't really need to, I probably shouldn't have been getting away with. Yeah, the game is still, really difficult, especially when when you first played Dark Souls 1 back in the day, it was difficult not only because it was difficult, but you also didn't have any experience with Dark Souls leading into Dark Souls, so you had no fucking idea what was going on. So, I didn't have to, but despite that, I didn't have to worry too much about certain things. Then I got to Artorias, and I had to learn a lot, and and very, very well, because Artorias punishes you as a boss. So, for example, Artorias taught me to dodge roll to the point where I was, at the time when I was playing Dark Souls 1, I just became
the frame timings mastered.
I became a god, because you kind of had to. I ended up beating Artorias naked, with a spear and a shield that I never ended up using except for, it was a Grass Crest shield, which is for getting your stamina back, and that's how I beat Artorias. It was basically in the nude, so if I got hit, I was dead. So it was quite an experience, and definitely the high point for me in the series. Manus is also a DLC guy that was really crazy and over the top and a cool character. In Dark Souls 3, what was the for those who were in my stream when it happened, I almost beat him on my 3rd attempt. You're up in the fucking clouds or whatever. He's riding the I don't know, you call it a drake or whatever the hell it was. I can never think of the name of this guy once. I thought he was a king something or other. Nameless King. That's it. Nameless King. So Nameless King as a boss was really, really cool. Not the hardest boss by any means, but a very cool boss. Just to look at visually, it was crazy. It went a long way to break the camera in Dark Souls, which is not hard to do, but you know, half the time you're fighting the camera, the other half you're fighting the guy in front of you. And then I think it was Bloodborne DLC. I never played it, but Smitty did.
Yeah, I have Bloodborne. I'm, waiting to finish packing all the Patreon materials to get those shipped out and get over the crippling depression before I pick that up. But I do have it already.
You're gonna play it?
Yeah, I already have it. I already have it. Like, I just haven't gotten around to playing it.
Okay. So Bloodborne is really good, but there was, I think it was the last boss of the DLC for Bloodborne, and it was up at the top of a tower, and it's a girl, and I can't think of her name either, but the music was badass, the character design was awesome, everything was great. I never did it myself, I just watched Smitty do it. Somebody in chat might know who I'm talking about just by that description, otherwise I can't. Lady Maria, yeah. Was awesome. And then Amelia was a really cool boss design in Bloodborne. But yeah, I mean, Dark Souls is great. It still bothers me how they delivered lore in that game to no end. I know there's a lot of people that circle jerk over, how they delivered it. I think it was bad. But Dark Souls has, some of the best music and some of the best character design and some of the best lore. As much as they did to hide it from everyone.
Yeah, they don't really deliver like a story game. It's just like you go and do this stuff, and then you're like buried in there somewhere. There's some purpose to what your madness is.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, yeah, those would be my highlights. I enjoyed the Dark Souls series quite a bit. You always rage when you're playing it, but other than pretending Dark Souls 2 didn't exist,
like when your good friend Brian broke your thing, your sword or what axe, and then killed you.
Oh my god!
And then he's like, I'm gonna leave now.
Dude, I was so angry.
I remember that.
This was when I wasn't even streaming at the time. So this was on the
I thought
Xbox
this was
3.
on stream.
No. So this was Xbox 360. I was just playing Dark Souls, and I had gotten the Dragon Sword, which takes forever. You get like a bajillion arrows and you shoot the dragon's tail from underneath the bridge, and you eventually get this thing. And it is a sword that, it isn't the best sword in the game, but by God, especially when I was first playing it, it is basically good enough to carry you if you want for the whole game, certainly for the majority of it. So I have this sword now, and I go through, and I can't remember. No, wait, it was the Gaping Dragon. I think the Gaping Dragon was the one you're underneath, in like an old temple ruin open area with a waterfall at the back end of it, and the Gaping Dragon. I think it was the Gaping Dragon because it was like the whole chest and shit opens up and everything, and you could cut the tail off of the dragon, and it was a giant axe. You could end up using it as a weapon if you attack the tail enough in the battle. And so Brian was like, let me, I tried it a couple times. Brian was like, let me give it a shot. We summoned a guy. It was the only time in Dark Souls I ever summoned somebody to help at the time. And it wasn't an NPC, it was summoning like an actual other player. Yeah. And so we're in this battle and things are going real fucking well. I mean, if you get hit once, you're still basically dead. But things are going really well. We get the axe. We cut the tail off. Everything's great. The boss is down to like, I mean, a fucking hair. I wish I was streaming it because this would have been one of the greatest moments in my entire stream. Sneeze on it. The other guy is already going in for the fucking kill, right? Brian decides that he's going to two-hand with the sword. I was like, don't do that, because it's going to break the fucking sword and we don't have any other weapons. Just do not fucking two-hand the sword. Two-hands it, goes in for a double-handed attack, hits it or whatever, it doesn't kill the dragon, Gaping Dragon kills Brian, the sword breaks, the other guy kills the boss afterwards, but it doesn't fucking count for us.
Because you're dead.
Because I'm dead. Brian goes, well, that's unfortunate, gets up and just fucking walks out of my room. He just gets out, goes out the door. I thought he was gonna come back. He fucking peaced out. I hear the fucking front door of the house close and he just leaves me there. I have no weapon. I have a broken dragon sword. I'm stuck down there with the boss. It is a hell of a fucking run to try and get out of there in the condition that we were in. I had nothing. And then I had to get all the way back in and try and fucking beat the boss with shit weaponry. So it was terrible. It was a gong show. But yeah, it was quite something. But yeah, Dark Souls, awesome series, for sure. I doubt Bloodborne 2 will ever happen, but you know, we can all I guess kind of hope and pray that it happens in some regard. But yeah, well, what do we got for another question?
This one's from Nikhil Sinha. He's one of our. We've answered some of his questions before. This one's a good one. Goes in line with some of our likes and mutual interests. Adam, you're serving on the Starship Enterprise. Your name is Ensign Ricky. You are a red shirt.
Ensign Ricky.
How do you die?
I die because
Captain Picard has just picked you to do something.
I die because I have the worst name ever. Fucking Ensign Ricky, really?
Have you not seen Family Guy?
Well, I don't watch that much Family Guy, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's pretty played out, but
it's like from years ago.
Okay, so red shirt, how do I die? Okay, so Picard is my captain. So
it'd be anyone. For the purposes of this joke, I made a Picard.
All right, okay. Kirk is going to be my captain.
Oh, Captain Kirk.
Yes, so Captain Kirk is going to be my captain, and I'm going to die in a tragic accident whereby we're on a planet's surface on a away mission, and the alien for whatever reason. Oh no, here the fucking atmosphere's got too much radiation and oh shit, we can't, we'll lose your fucking a pattern in the image buffer if we try and fucking port you out. We can't do it. You're stuck down there. Oh shit, no, the natives are angry. Big fucking green monster guy is gonna come kill us all quick. Captain Kirk, fucking save us. And Captain Kirk's gonna pick up a big ass rock and throw it at the monster, but he's gonna fucking be too weak to throw it. It's gonna hit me in the head and I'm dead.
Friendly fire?
So I died of friendly fire from Captain Kirk throwing a styrofoam rock at a green monster.
Friendly rock. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
All right, Adam, deliver the question to me. I gave you an epic intro.
All right, okay. Tabin.
You captain's log or whatever.
Tabin, congratulations. You just managed to get past the Kobayashi Maru. You've made it through. You are now a red shirt aboard the starship, whatever the fuck you want to be on. You are going on an away mission somewhere and tragically die in the most predictable way possible. How do you do it?
I'm totally gonna rip this off from Voyager, but you know when the ship got stranded by the Kazon on the planet?
Which time?
Oh, the two-parter.
Okay, because like the Kazons would just never went away. Yeah, okay, yeah, I get you.
And they had that one engineer guy who would like become kind of a regular, even though he had like a bit part for first couple episodes, or for first couple of seasons. And then him and Neelix are just like walking by a cave, and then Neelix is like, we should just check that out before we go back. And then some giant like cave monster or something eats him. That's how I go. And like he gets found later. He's
like nobody, he's one of those red shirts that everyone technically knows, but then at the send off on the ship, people were like, they just talk in generalities, like such a nice guy.
He like died, and then like later on,
family.
They revisited it in like season 5 when like the Voth or whatever found his remains, like in his uniform.
It's the worst. Being a red shirt and still somehow nobody fucking knowing who the hell you are. Let's see.
Either that or the guy who goes flying when like a bulkhead crashes. He just dies.
Okay, here's a completely out in left field one, I guess, compared to most of the ones that we do. And since Jeff isn't here, this makes more sense than anything to ask. Bogey Hansen, which is a great name, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right, asks, I'm thinking about buying myself a new phone. What mobile phones are you guys using, and what phone are you going to buy when you also break your screen?
I have only ever broken... No, scratch that. I've broken the screen on 2 of my phones in my entire lifetime. One of them was on my Motorola Razr, which I had all through college. And it only broke on the last day of college when my roommate The large guy gave me a hug, and we heard a crunching sound in my pocket, which made no sense because he's hugged me like that dozens of times throughout the course of college. That the one time, final time end of college, crunching, outer screen broke. The other time was when I got really mad at my HTC Thunderbolt, and I went to throw it at a bush, and I pegged it into pavement. Adam, you were actually there for that.
I was there for that. That was glorious.
Yeah. It didn't help the phone because the phone still wasn't, you know what? It wasn't the problem because the phone could still not take calls after that or before
it didn't solve anything.
Yeah, it didn't solve anything. Didn't make anything worse. Right now, I actually use the LG V20. I actually really like this phone.
You haven't had any weird fuckery with how the battery inserts in that thing, eh?
Oh God, why did that turn on? No, it's got like a double screen. It's always on screen on the top. Doesn't really drain the battery well. Camera's pretty good. It's got removable batteries. Comes out. You know, it's really sturdily constructed. The only reason I got this was because I had a Note 5 and I was very diligently waiting for the Note 7 to come out. And my Note 5 had a minor problem where the accelerometer that would actually turn the picture after you take it so it can tell the orientation of the phone broke.
Dude, that's been a problem with Android phones.
No. So, like, my Note would take the picture, but then it would rotate it the wrong way.
No, again, that's an Android problem. I have that problem on mine, too.
I haven't had it on any of my other phones, and I really was waiting for the 7, and then the 7 started exploding, so I was like, I really need a large phone, and the V20 just come out, and I'm like, let's go for it. It's got nice features. It's got like it's one of the few phones that actually have special DACs built in for audio quality. Good quality camera. You know, it's got an ultra wide lens, so you can take some wide stuff with it. I've been really happy with it. In terms of replacement phones, I've been looking at the Essential phone, which is like the recent one. I'm on the fence. I'm probably just gonna wait. The V30 is being announced soon. I might even just wait a year. This phone's been working fine for me. So I might actually keep it for 2 years.
Yeah, I have never broken a phone. Ever.
My Thunderbolt was not broken even after I pegged it.
True. I've never cracked a screen, nothing like that. I mean, to be fair, I went from the Nokia, 3310 was it or whatever, the one that was a brick. It's the one that would take a bullet for you and you would survive. So I had that. Then I went into a Razor, like you had one. Had that one forever.
The original Razor, honestly, I would actually get one of those today.
I still have mine upstairs.
Yeah, I still have it at home. It's just the outer screen's cracked. It still works, I think. But it was honestly, for the purposes of what a phone does, it was perfect. It was thin, simple, good screen, can read it. Text,
there's a reason why in Japan and some of the other Asian markets, people are still buying flip phones that basically are just glorified Razors, and it's because they do exactly what a phone needs to do. They call, they text, and for people that have devices for every other purpose that don't need a big ass smartphone, they still do their thing. So I went from a Razor to the Atrix 4G, and then I went, which, I mean, it wasn't, the
Atrix was the one that was like the one that they were like trying to sell, oh, you can use that as like a computer type thing?
Well, only because it was the first dual core phone. And the irony was, unfortunately, the version of Android that it had was not supporting dual core. So you were draining battery running 2 cores, but in reality, the operating system was only making use of one of those 2 cores. So the phone didn't run any faster than the competitors, and everyone was assuming when they bought it that they were going to get the update to the new version of Android that would make it. No, you're not. So yeah, unfortunately, Atrix didn't live up to the lofty Razor that came before it, but
I always wanted, like, that was the thing. There was one thing that I wish had actually happened. I actually really like Windows Phone. Like, I liked the software, and it was really good.
Want
it just
the
never
apps to be there.
Yeah, it never caught on, which means the apps never came.
Yeah.
But like Nokia when they had the Lumia line, they made some fire phones, but the problem was their hardware was always one generation out of step with the software, and the OS apps never came because of it, and they always had like these really weird esoteric launch windows with like stuff.
Yep.
And I'm like, I literally went into Microsoft for one. I'm like, I want to buy your phone, but please just give me a flagship phone with it, and like just release it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Great phones.
From there, I went to the Note 4, which I still think is my favorite phone I've ever owned. And the only reason that I had to change from the Note 4, I would still have the Note 4 today and probably the Note 4 for the next 3 fucking years, is because Samsung released an update that bricked not only my Note 4, but the Note 4 I bought for Gabs. And
I love the Note series. Like, it was fantastic. The Note, I had the S4, and the Note 5 had just come out. I know the Note 4 had like the removable battery and stuff, but the Note 5 was functionally still a similar phone.
Yeah,
and like they nailed it out of the park with the Note series, and I absolutely love the phone. Like, it was the one that said, you know what, phablets are actually useful, especially with the stylus and stuff. I'm like, we're good.
I miss my stylus, but
and
yeah,
you've got your giant Meat Club hands. The Note 8 or the Note 8, I think, is coming.
Yeah, it is, but I really couldn't be
you're
bothered
done
to fucking. I don't really want to buy another Samsung phone, because what happened was, it was Samsung's fault. They released a shitty fucking firmware that quite literally broke at the kernel level to the point where the phones wouldn't even connect to Samsung service at Samsung service centers. So it wouldn't even, like, they couldn't even flash the phones properly, and it broke the memory controller on the fucking phone. So the exact same thing happened to my Note and Gab's Note. Gab's first, because hers updated first. Mine was perfectly fine, and then it received an update that I don't have. It installed overnight. It was one of those updates that you can only put off for so long, and then it just forces itself upon you. And there you go. We got it. It fucked my phone, and I had to move on. And Samsung didn't want anything to do with it. They said, nope, not our problem. And I said, yeah, it is. And they said, well, too bad. Deal with it. Thankfully, my carrier gave us a really good out for Gab's phone. My phone was already paid off in full, but with Gab's, she still had hundreds of dollars left on that phone. So thankfully, they allowed us to at least, they wiped out the remainder of that phone. So I didn't have to pay anything else for that phone, but I still had to pay for, obviously, a new phone for her. But for myself, because I like to just own my phone outright, I went out and I picked up, I bid in on this Chinese phone market that has been growing.
Huawei?
No, it's an Axon.
Oh yeah, no, the HE Axon, or ZTE?
ZTE Axon 7.
Yeah, they make really good phones. No, like, my cousin loves them.
I researched like a fucking madman. I watched every video for every phone that existed within a 6-month fucking period of time. And the thing that was coming up was all the Chinese phones are really fucking good, and they're way cheaper than the other phones that everyone else is currently buying. And I don't mean a little bit cheaper, I mean hundreds of dollars. It's remarkable. So this Axon 7 had the exact same spec as the top of the line Samsung at the time, which I think was the S7 or whatever. Same graphics, same processor.
Chinese phones tend to have like the lower resolution screens. I mean, they're great screens, but they still tend to have like the lower pixel pitch and stuff.
This is I can't remember if the Axon 7 is 1080 or 1440. I can't remember which one it is.
I'd be surprised if it was 1440. Like, that's the main reason like I avoided like the OnePlus and stuff, because as much as I love those phone tech, like the OnePlus is a 1080p screen on like a pretty large phone.
Here's the thing, Panic. This screen, even in this is 5.7 inches. Okay? The pixel fucking density on a 5.7 inch screen at 1080p is perfectly fine. Yeah. You go north of 1080 and a few things happen. One, you are blasting through battery so that when you look 3 inches away from your phone, you don't see the vague hint of a blurred texture on the side of a piece of font. That is literally the difference between 1080 and 1440. Gab's phone is S7. I can hold these two screens together Mine doesn't lose out to hers basically in any way, except for at best, maybe broad daylight. She might have an edge on me, minor, and that's because Samsung hoards all the best screens for their own phones because they manufacture it for everyone else.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, other than that, I had all the same spec. Identical. Gorilla Glass was the same level, everything. The phone is made of metal. It is a fucking rock. Jerry Rig Everything, which is a great channel that everyone should go fucking watch, does phone teardowns.
I kind of just want to see them tear down an Essential. I really actually kind of just want to.
He'll do it eventually.
Yeah, I kind of just want to get one just for the sake of it, because like this phone actually looks like a tank, and it's actually been getting pretty good reviews on the hardware.
But yeah, it's the phone. Like you cannot break this thing. It's a fucking brick. Yeah. You can expand its memory, which is for some reason. At the period of time this phone came out, everyone was moving away from that.
Like no expandable memory. That's why I got the V20. Like I looked at it and I'm like, this is everything I want. Removable battery, expandable memory.
The other nice thing,
headphone jack. I'm like, we're good.
Oh yeah. The other nice thing about these Chinese phones is that they don't have a bunch of bloatware on it. There's almost nothing on this phone. And on top of that, I got an update the other day that allows me to remove even what little fucking remaining apps are on this phone that were standard. Like I can get rid of basically everything. It gives me 2 flavors. It gives me what is basically a stock Android look if I want it, or it's their proprietary overlay, which is really actually very nice to look at and move about. The battery life, I can run this phone for the social media, the texting, the whatever I do. I can go pretty much 2 full days, and I've gone a little bit into a 3rd day on this thing. It charges
I get about a day.
It charges in no time. I plug it into my charger. It's USB-C. I plug it into my charger, and in a half an hour, I have like 60% battery life. It's nuts. It's because it's 1080p as well, or lower resolution. Games and other apps, fluid as fuck. Because it's the same hardware pushing a smaller resolution, which is perfect for me because I would rather have better battery than a very almost even for me who spends all of their time in front of, doing video and everything else, barely noticeable difference between the two phones.
I don't care about the resolution for the video. It's the text for me. Like I spend again. Honestly, I agree with you that the resolution doesn't matter that much, but the 1080 to 1440 for rendering clear text does matter.
I'm pretty sure this. I have to look this up right now.
It's because 1440 puts and again
it's 1440.
Yeah, and my phone is quite a bit large. It's a larger phone, so like the 1080p to 1440 does matter because it's like I think like a 6-inch phone almost. But I spend a lot of I conduct a lot of my day-to-day stuff on my phone, for work and whatever. So that was one of the things that I'm like, the text needs to be comfortable to read for long periods because I might be staring at my phone for like an hour, for a couple hours at a time, even while I'm at work.
Yeah. So a couple of other highlights for the Axon 7. For me, I can't figure out if it's 1080p or 1440. I want to say it might be 1440. Somebody Axon 7.
If they say if they don't say, it's probably 1080.
I can't remember. But here's the thing: if you're in the States, ZTE has one of the best warranty things ever for phones, if not the best. It might be industry best. You get it's called Axon. No, it's called ZTE.
Oh no, it is 1440. The Axon 7.
So, yeah, there you go. So the ZTE. Passport 2.0 in the States. Let me just let you in on this. So for those that like to break their screens and their phones in general,
let me just since I broke a screen.
Let you in on this. So for a period of 2 years, which is more than anyone else to my knowledge, 2-year warranties on these phones, you can get an advanced exchange option in the States. They will send you a phone before they even receive yours.
Most carriers will do that for you.
Carriers, yes, but the phone companies, definitely not.
No, the phone carriers, yeah, depends. Oh, not the manufacturers. Got it.
No, manufacturers. They have upgrade assistance. They do a free setup assistance as well, replacement assistance if things really go shitty with gift cards. They have a premium protection plan that extends it even further to more of it, data backup, pretty. I mean, you can look it up if you really want to. It's just search for Axon Passport 2.0, and it is extensive in the States. It's 1.0 in Canada because again, Canada gets fucked on. But it's really something. $500 Canadian.
Wow, it's not bad at all.
$500 Canadian for this phone. The closest thing to a downside this phone has is the camera. While it is a great camera, the software is not living up to the hardware that the camera is. So you don't get. That's
actually a problem with most Android phones in general. Even the Essential, like everyone like thought it was bullshit, but the Essential, which actually literally just came out, the reviewer actually wrote. I did all the review stuff, and I was gonna write that the camera is a hot pile of trash because of the low light performance. But then I got literally day before I launched the review. Lo and behold, manufacturer update for the camera comes out, and it actually did a pretty big impact on the low light performance. So I can say that I have a little bit of confidence in them, and they're improving the software still. So you know what? This phone is actually not that bad. Phone's pretty good.
Yeah, but that's the only downside to it. I'm not a big picture guy with the phone anyway. I don't really give a fuck. But it has a crazy manual mode that is insanely in-depth. Stuff that's out now is probably become almost closer to standard as to what this has in full manual. So if you're in full manual, you can make this camera do great things. But it's not like an S8, it's not like an iPhone where you can look like a fucking savant by taking automatic mode pictures. Like it doesn't have that. But for everything else, for 500 Canadian dollars, I can't even imagine. Like Huawei doesn't have anything that beats it. Neither does this beats the OnePlus at the time when it was out.
Well, OnePlus's main thing is they have the big phones, but they only come with the 1080p screens. And that's where that's where they get their price back.
Yeah, but even then it was still. But it's still more expensive than this phone, and it was worse spec because I couldn't expand the memory. I couldn't do anything.
The difference between my phone and your phone, primarily on the screen, is mine's a slightly larger, not that much, but mine's IPS LCD while yours is AMOLED.
Yeah,
so that's not my.
Which is again why mine's not incredible in direct light, but I mean there's not very many instances. To be fair though,
it's hard to have a phone that doesn't look good these days with the screens. They've gotten phone screen tech really well.
You know what I do like about this phone? This phone gets dark as fuck. If I'm in bed, no. If I'm in bed and I turn when the screen's on, I mean, when I'm like if I'm reading something, I'm scrolling Twitter or some shit. If I turn this down to the lowest, it is dark. Look at this shit. Look. Oh fuck! It's auto. It's on auto. Fuck.
Yeah, there you go. See, it's pretty dark.
It is. It put like Gab's S7 or whatever puts
off a lot of light in the Samsung
unbelievably bright. So at nighttime, it's not blasting my eyes. I could talk about this phone forever. I think it's fucking fantastic.
I think
yeah, exactly. I think if you're going to,
don't discount the Chinese brands.
No, do not. Can add them in ZTE, when you're looking.
They're pretty good.
Because really, truthfully, phones in general have gotten way too expensive. Flagship devices are all going north of like $700, $800, $900.
I heard the new iPhone is going to be rumored to be like $1,400 or something.
Yeah,
stupid
fuck
like
that shit.
I'm like, yeah, no.
Fuck that shit. So hard. Anyway, is it really bright too? Yes, it is. It is incredibly bright. It will go max brightness is super bright. The background that's on it is not conducive for it, but it is very bright indeed. So yeah, in broad daylight, it's not amazing, but it is more than bright enough to do pretty much anything that you would want to have on it. So yeah, anyway, I could... the endless shit. Go look at the ZTE Axon 7. If you're somebody that doesn't need to like play 4K games on your phone, it's definitely a good cheap option. Anyway, now that we've talked about that for longer than I think we have in my head, because I'm so tired.
Oh, yeah, no,
of
we've been
lost
at for about
concept of
10,
time.
15, 20 minutes, I think.
Yeah, let's not continue that line of thought anymore. Let's see.
Oh, let's hit up one more question, I think.
Let's see here. Some of these are thinkers. Okay, a couple of short. I'll take a short one and a bit of a more of a thinker one. The quick one first. Stuka, who is the legend that does our timestamps on YouTube, asks if you could go into space for a week for free, but you would lose a year of your life doing so. Would you do it?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah, 100%. That's an easy.
That is an easy, like bucket list item for me.
Instantaneous.
I would absolutely love to go to space.
Instantaneous, yes. Wouldn't even
if you said you might die while you're in space, I'm like, done. Let's go.
Sure.
Let's go. Let's
exactly.
do this.
This is it. I think that in a perfect world, everyone should get a chance to see Earth from the moon.
I sent you a picture of the Earth a little while ago on Twitter.
You did, and it was totally round in that picture. I think everyone should be able to see the Earth from the moon, because I think it gives anyone in that position. If you can place somebody on the moon and they look back at Earth and it doesn't dramatically, violently change their views on basically everything, then I would be impressed. I think it puts things into perspective that you couldn't even imagine it doing until you were there. And I think most people come back a lot more humble after seeing that from the, and I'm not talking about seeing it in a picture on Google. I mean actually physically being on the moon, looking back at the planet.
Full vision, seeing it.
Yeah, that I think is something that I think everyone would be able to appreciate for sure. But yeah, that's yes, 100%. 100% get to space. All right, last question is going to be, we're going to have to think about this one perhaps. Question for each one to answer. If you were, this is from Mozart. Mozart.
Oh, the first one, yeah.
Fuck, I should go to sleep. Mozart asks, if you were to be one of the characters on a famous TV show, which one do you think you are more close to? And of course, which characters do you think the other two can be really? Obviously, this is just between you and I now. So yeah, do you have? I guess the real question here is: do you have TV show characters that you've ever seen that you feel like you've most aligned with? And do you have anyone that you think that, I guess in this case, I align with in terms of TV show characters?
I don't know if you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I would say I would probably match up with like a Coulson.
Okay.
I'm kind of like, not the main character, but I'm a pretty big character and, have a role and stuff. But, he's not the most effective at times. And in the same vein of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I forgot the name. One sec, I need to look this up. There was a character in it that I felt you would fall in line with.
I can think of things for me. I'm trying to think of things for you right now. Fuck.
I would have you probably, if we had to stick you in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you'd probably be Jeff Mace.
I have no
The
idea who that
Patriot.
is.
He's pretty much, he becomes the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't want to spoil the series for people, but he becomes the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. He's got superpowers, but they aren't real superpowers. They're made by a bastardized version of the super serum that was given to Captain America.
Amazing.
Yeah. But he dies saving a hospital full of children.
Yeah, okay, all right, I can live with that. I guess that's okay. I guess that's fine. Man, what I can think of like random things for me, but I'm trying to just rattle off some shit for you.
I can be Hogan from Voyager.
Fuck. I was actually trying to think of like a Voyager character that you would somehow fucking align with too. I was like, who would
You
that
say
be?
fucking Neelix, I'll slap you.
Neelix, holy shit! No, I don't think so. I think you're above
I'd probably
board
be a
there.
doctor, maybe.
No.
Really?
No.
Oh,
You don't. Your demeanors and humor are way too separate for that. Oh man, who would you be on Voyager?
I don't know. I might be a Chakotay.
I think you're a David Kim.
A what? Harry Kim?
Harry Kim, David Kim. Thanks, StarCraft.
I don't know.
Harry
I don't
Kim.
think I'm as naive as Harry. I'd be probably closer to a Chakotay, I'd say.
Oh yeah, well that might I could have gone that, and it would have been mildly racist.
Wrong kind of Indian.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but the mannerism pretty calm, collected, but he's got that sense of humor. He's not over the top, but he's well rationed.
I'd call you a Chakotay. I think Chakotay works. Works definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go with that. I think that's it. Am I Tuvok? Am I that robotic?
I don't think so. You'd probably be more of a 7 of 9. You got the figure for it.
I mean, I do have nice legs for a woman.
And you're all about that efficiency. And partially probably a robot.
I think I align more with the Doctor than you do.
You know what you would be? You'd be the 29th century drone.
Oh my god! Oh, that episode was so cringe. Holy shit. Oh, but I would be OP as fuck. The 29th century drone was terrifying. Oh my good lord. Yeah,
Or
I mean, I don't know.
Or a
I don't
mainstream
know.
character, who would you be on there?
Mainstream though, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm not Tom Paris.
God no.
I'm not Harry Kim. I feel like I'm a Tuvok Doctor hybrid. but they weren't the ones that had the unfortunate. They weren't the Tuvok Neelix hybrid. We needed a Tuvok Doctor. Yeah, we needed a Tuvok Doctor hybrid. That's what we needed. Yeah. We'll go with that. One that doesn't actually exist, but I'm somewhere in there somewhere. I feel like Chakotay is actually close enough to just call it Chakotay for you.
It's either Chakotay or, Barkley, depending on my nervous level at the time, anxiety level at the time.
Yeah, well, yeah. See, the problem is that's weird. That's fucking weird. I don't know, but definitely I think this is between those two. Yeah, for sure. Tuvokter. There you go.
Tuvokter.
Or Duvok.
Duvok. Seriously?
Holy shit. Can you imagine how poor the bedside manner of a hybrid between Doctor and Tuvok would be? It'd be atrocious. Absolutely terrible.
Sounds about right, actually.
He'd be telling everyone to just die and get it over with.
Like, let's go for a rip there, bud. I'll just use the dermal regenerator on you, eh? Would you look at that?
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I guess we're gonna wrap it up at that. I've got a big day ahead of me tomorrow. I have to figure out how I'm gonna get Jeff's audio because I guarantee he didn't send it to me before he left the house. So
he might still be recording.
It's entirely possible. So I'll text him and sort that out, and we'll figure out how it's all going to come together. But yeah, and until next week, I guess before we head out, we got to, of course, thank our Patreon producers, Jetrix at that unbelievable 500, Beastall at 250, and a whole host of fantastic individuals at the 100, including Joe McDong, Sir Holmes, Postal Panda, Jamaican Jazz, Adam B, Toad of Steel, Naily, Derek P, Fricey, and Ice Wolfie. Thank you, gentlemen, for all of that stuff. Support's probably a more accurate term, but I've actually just lost my mind at this point. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for the support on Patreon and for giving us those reviews on iTunes. If you haven't already done that,
5-star rating.
I would love it if you would take the time to go on iTunes and give us a review. It really does help us quite a bit. If we can crack that 100 review mark, I will be happy for the rest of my days. We are creeping, and when I say creeping, I mean creeping towards that $5,000 goal where we will be doing likely D&D. As scary as that is. And of course those movie commentaries, those monthly movie commentaries. So you can look forward to that as well. If we can get into that level, we might need your help to get there though. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be seeing you next week. As far as I know, same bat time, same bat channel. And until then, peace.
Bye.